It's chilly. It's 7:50 in the morning. Oh, I hear the rooster. And it is Scott Appreciation Day. So, I wanted to video and show people what a great husband you are. So this is Scott Appreciation Day. You know, these are the things that are like the least fun to do, is to stretch canvas. And we have tons of stretcher bars, as you've seen in other videos, things that we've just had for years. And I, as usual, instead of wanting to finish things, want to start something new, because starting new stuff is enjoyable and finishing things is painful sometimes. And you see how cumbersome this is? And like even having space to roll out canvas can be, you know, people don't have like huge studios. This is like, you have to go do it in your driveway or something. I had an old painting on these stretcher bars and they just kind of happened to be really, really close to the size that I want. And that's difficult. You see how there's like extra right there, which means it's going to be a remnant. You know, canvas is so expensive now, but this canvas we've had for years and just literally trying to use it up. A lot of times what I'll do, especially if the canvas is smaller, like say even like 16 by 20, maybe even up to 18 by 24. This size is a 26 by 40. I would actually glue it to a acid-free like gator board. But since this is kind of bigger and it's a little bit more immediate, you know, because if I was to glue it, it's kind of a process. I like immediate satisfaction. So, I mean, what's it called? I mean, is it called immediate satisfaction? Gratification, right? Immediate gratification is what I'm thinking about. I want to just go down to my studio and like kind of start it, although I'm thinking that this painting is probably going to literally take me 2 months, which sounds daunting because when you start a piece, especially for me, something bigger than this and something like this in oil, it's like committing to a marriage or a long-term relationship. And so it can be a little scary to do. Like you procrastinate, but that's why I was like, if Scott couldn't stretch this morning, who knows what I would do? I don't know. I actually do have about maybe 10 to 15 pieces in progress in my studio, but I kind of feel like, you know, I want to start something a little bit bigger. Scott, what time did you come out here to start painting?
I got up late today, probably about 5.
So you came out to your studio at 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
Because yesterday you said that you kind of had a frustrating day.
And what?
You had a frustrating day in your studio yesterday.
I did, yeah. I washed off most of what I did.
So that happens a lot. Those are the things that people don't see. They just see the finished product, but they don't see how many times you fixed something, worked on something, you know, didn't like what you did, and then totally erased it.
It's not safe for putting handles on crates.
Oh, right.
Putting in.
Yeah, Scott saves those. We've shown in other videos how he uses scraps of canvas. So like if you have a really big canvas with super thick stretcher bars sometimes and the frame is thinner, it's easier just to use scraps of canvas instead of trying to find those metal latches that, you know, it's just easier. And something, I mean, I can stretch this, but just physically, like holding the canvas tight and using a staple gun can be kind of just physically difficult for me. And I know I'm a wimp, so I get it. This is the painting that Scott did of Michael. It's so fun. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What I really want to do, so Scott's going to show the video, the whole process of him painting it, and probably some funny stories. And then what I'm going to do on Patreon is, along with the video, I'm going to share a photo of Michael so you guys can kind of try and copy, or you know what I mean? Just paint along. And I think it'd be the best to have people paint Michael and then tag him so that he can see people from all over the world painting his portrait. Wouldn't that just be the funnest thing ever? To like hook into Instagram and then see people you've never met to paint your portrait. That's so fun. So yeah, so he does one staple on each side. So he's using these clamper things when they have rubber on them. And it's an art because you can pull too hard. So it's a process. And something that will take Scott maybe 10 minutes to do would probably take me like a half hour because I'd be exhausted at the end.
Well, it took me a lot more time to take the canvas off of.
Yeah, I had a canvas, an old painting on top of this, and so he had to take the cardboard off, all the staples off. That's why it's Husband Appreciation Day.
Stretching is actually a lot easier.
Yeah, I always just think about like your shoulders and your biceps and your forearms. These are, going to keep you in shape.
There you go.
Yeah, I know you're going to go to the gym also, but still, you're not like really like flexing those forearms that you normally would be when you're stretching canvas. I personally find those type of staple guns really hard for me. Like my hands are not that strong. And you need really strong hands to use that kind of staple gun. I like the kind that are front loading, meaning, front pressure. So the handle is actually opposite. And so you're pushing down towards the top. And they're easier for me to use. I don't know. Oh, I got something in my throat. I don't know if those are considered girl, staple guns or not.
The trick of this is you put it in the centers.
Uh-huh.
And then here, I also go now to the center of both sides here.
Right, so it's even, and one side doesn't get
to the
distorted.
Center on these sides too, because if you just do
if you
one
just do,
side,
yeah,
and then the other side, you'll get stretch marks in it.
Stretch marks. And I just want to see also that it's an art because you have to cut the canvas just long enough so that it can push down, but that you don't have to it's not too short and it's not too long. It's just, it's like years of learning how much, is it 1.5 inches, 2 inches over that edge? Because if you cut it too close, then it's like, it doesn't grab on.
I go in between.
Yeah.
Between all these.
See, there's like a teeniest bit of like a ripple there, but that is just the canvas itself.
Yeah,
that was from just being rolled up, and over time, it will smooth out. And that's the tricky thing with canvases too. Like, since we live in a humid area, we live in North Carolina, if I ship this to, say, Arizona, or another state, sometimes the canvas will get loose, or you have to be careful. And that's why sometimes you put those little wood corners. Let me show you the back of the stretcher bar. See, like in here, you see how you can put little pieces of wood up in here, and they sell them.
The back of that painting, I had to put corners in there because the canvas is loose.
Yeah. So over time, sometimes canvases loosen up. So it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see how there's like little, I can see it. And they're actually meant, they sell them. Actually, they just kind of come free with the stretcher bars. So you kind of put those up with like a little rubber mallet. Do it really gently. You don't want to like jam it up there.
I actually use a regular hammer, but when I put them in, the important thing is you put it on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on the ground. And you're going to put ones in both of these sides here, here and here. And what you do is first you put the back one in, because obviously you can't hit that one easily. When this one, so you put the back one in, and you have this on the floor, and then you tap it down.
You have to be careful, like maybe get a smaller hammer.
Put one in, you tap it down. You don't do it too hard.
Yeah.
And then you do the next corner. The next corner you tap, tap, tap. But you always tap it against the ground. You don't want to do it this way, because it'll start to separate the canvases.
Right.
So then you tap this one down.
I want you to also see that Scott put 3 staples
Right.
So it's, because if you just put one staple and we're doing the type of things that he just said, or you're stretching canvas, the canvas can become askew. It can become slightly off square then, and trying to fit it into a frame is, So these are all just little tips that you learn over time, and everyone makes mistakes,
So yeah, and then as you turn that, you just keep turning it and tapping. You don't want to do too much on one corner at once, and you just keep turning it, and you just keep slowly tapping it down until it stretches out enough that you like it. But you don't want to like try to do like one corner completely.
Right. You mean, like halfway, you mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you just do little by little, and that way it gets it.
Well, anyway, so I was at my studio yesterday, and I was trying to find inspiration for something new to paint. And I was going through a very, very old hard drive. So I haven't even told Scott what I'm going to paint, but we have been talking recently with each other about, images that we've worked on, or photos that we've done, or maybe even painted before, right? And trying those same images, if they're ones that we just love, and trying them in a different way. Doing them, if we did it in oil, maybe do it in a lino cut or a pastel or a watercolor, and maybe doing it much bigger or much smaller, or maybe making it more abstract. Maybe 10 years ago we painted it in a very traditional way, and now we want to do something a little bit more magical with it, and just opening ourselves up to that idea. So I found an image, and it's not the exact image that I painted, I'm going to say 15, 18 years ago. And it's an image that's just slight off. So it's not the exact image, the exact pose, but it's the same model, but, maybe in that photo shoot, similar. And this is much bigger for me. I think when I painted it originally, I must have done it 20 by 30 or 18 by 24. And this one is 26 by 40, so it's bigger. And I'm going to try and do it with a completely different color harmony, and trying my hardest to be just a little bit more just exciting with color, instead of trying to be literal, which is something we've been talking a lot about in videos and stuff, is just you want to see how you fold it like a present? Yeah, so the corners, so those fit into frames afterwards. Sometimes you actually have to cut down the canvas if it gets too bulky, but just turning it, it's like making a Christmas
You don't
present.
want to cut this all off.
Right.
Because then if you ever want to re-stretch it, take it off and re-stretch it, or take it off and roll it, you won't be able to.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate this, and oh my God, this is getting me excited and also a little nervous. So I totally identify with all you guys out there that have so many ideas, and yet, starting something, you maybe hesitate. So I'm going to try not to hesitate today. At least I'm going to actually sketch it out. Who knows if I know, I'm teasing Scott. He gets to do all the work, and I can't tell you how many canvases he's stretched for me. And then I have them sitting around, and they're really odd sizes, and then they're just still plain. They're still in my studio. And I look at them and I think, wow, Scott stretched that for me 10 years ago, and it's still sitting there. It looks beautiful.
This stuff will come out. Yeah, it's just from being rolled for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, cool. Scott.
You're welcome.
Yay. Okay, now you have to send me a little painting prayer. I'm going to bless this canvas so that magical things happen. So I just got to my studio, and I have the stretched canvas that Scott did for me, and it was kind of fun. I was driving, listening to Christmas music, and it's interesting. Right before I got to my studio, our little city had one of those Christmas runs or mistletoe runs that they have, you know, and people dress up like in holidays. They have their dogs. It's like kids to old, you know, all ages. And so the street was blocked off with the police. And I mean, I must have, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes of just sitting there. And of course, traffic was all waiting. We're all watching these people, you know, run and, you know, fast and slow. And it's strange, but in a way, it got me emotional. I mean, I wasn't in a hurry, which is great, but also just listening to Christmas music and watching people run like that. And, you know, a lot of the families were supporting. So people probably do that for multiple reasons, right? To be in shape, to just have a goal. Maybe there's some kind of challenge that they have for themselves, health-wise. And I don't know, I got kind of choked up. So I just wanted to mention it. I mean, I don't want to forget things like that where I enjoyed it. I mean, if it was like next to a FedEx truck and he's probably like, like I gotta deliver all these packages. But me, I just loved seeing all the different people and their costumes and their different dogs. And you think about the fact that the family supporting them and having signs, and of course it probably wasn't very far. Maybe it's 3 miles. I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 miles, who knows. But anyways, I thought that was kind of cool, watching that and pumping me up for the day, because I love seeing other people do things that are inspirational. So, going to start my day. So I did bring my canvas, and it's tricky when my studio. So I have my studio is like I have all these paintings over here that, I mean, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably, to be completely honest with you, maybe like in a pastel, 6 to 7 or 8 pieces in that corner that are in different degrees. So what I've been doing is, I do have one facing the wall. But what I've been doing is kind of having them out so that when I come in, or maybe I'll work on something like a pastel for a couple hours and then I just need to do something different. I'll work on one of those for a little bit. It's also difficult when I have like all my pastels out. I have all my pastels out and then trying to transition to an oil. I personally, you know, my fantasy would be to have a huge enough studio where like maybe one side of my studio was pastel and the other side was oil. I do not have that, but it's a fantasy. My goal today, see, that canvas looks really big to me. It does, it looks big to me. So I'm curious if my figure is going to be a tiny bit over life size, which I'm a little bit excited about because I never do that. So I think I need to tone the canvas. And that is also a tricky thing for me also, is my goal doing this, because I mentioned to you guys that it's a very close image to what I've done years and years ago, but I want to paint it differently. So, you know, I'm a different person. I'm like much older. I have different desires and how I want to design things, how I want to express myself. So also I've been talking a lot about working in pastel and figuring things out in pastel first, because I know that when I start painting this, it's like old programming is gonna come in. Even if I do put down different colors on my palette instead of the old traditional colors, I have to figure out those colors. I can play with it in Photoshop, but I think if I was smart, like the way I try and give advice to people is maybe, I know, oh my God, what do I do? Do I tone it first or do I do a little pastel first? First, I'm gonna play with it in Photoshop. Then I'm going to do a tiny little pastel study, because I really, really, you know, to spend this much time on something, I don't want to be second guessing myself. So that is what I'm gonna do. It's Saturday. The town is so completely dead, except for those Christmas runners. All right, I will let you know how it goes. I feel like butterflies in my stomach. Okay. So I've worked on this photo a bunch, and I have multiple color choices. I've been playing with, you know, the tools that I've shown people a lot in Photoshop series. And I'm working on a black sheet of paper. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because in general, that photo is on the darker side, right? It's a kind of a side lit, two-way lit kind of photo. And I got all these like fluorescent pastels. I got these super cheap, honestly, at the Diaries warehouse. These are fluorescent pastels. I think the whole set was like maybe $8, probably was something like $5 to $10. To me, it's all just about color choices. I'm gonna sketch this out very loosely. So this is not gonna be something that I'm gonna worry about. It's all about putting colors next to each other and seeing, are they garish? You know, can my mind deal with this? So I'm going to just sketch this out a little bit. Okay, more of a gesture. Just sort of figuring out these big angles, not worrying at all about actual drawing. I'm sketching things out in sort of like a pretty dark pastel pencil, this sort of kind of dark pink, because I don't want it to be so glaring on the paper. It's really just a guidance. So it's gonna be, I want it to look kind of abstract, meaning that all of the shapes of the blouse, much more patterny, much more, well, the word is trying not to be as literal, very shapy and pattern, almost like a quilt maybe, who knows? I mean, that's why I'm testing this out. Who knows? Who really knows? Gosh, it's gonna be shocking to put down this first pastel. So this is just like an orange. I really want to use pure color and not try and have grayed colors that much. I mean, that's the goal. So, right, we'll see how so I'm trying to choose stronger, like, pigments, and then maybe as time goes on, I might have to gray them down a little bit, but I really, I don't want to, so we'll see. We will see. This is also reminding me that putting down a darker wash is going to be more important because, and that initial wash is going to be very, very, very key because it's gonna influence me, right? And that's why this black paper is interesting because it's influencing me. And I even noticed that I had some black gesso at my home studio. It's like, I don't even remember getting it. It's funny. All the stuff you buy. I'm really, really telling myself, do not worry at all about drawing. Let's see. These are very, very hard pastels. If they were, I think playing with pastel is probably a little bit easier to do with a harder pastel at first because softer pastels can be, although I think this is actually coming out a little bit light, so I'm going to have to get a stronger green. Yeah. So these are both hard. This is a new pastel. This is a Holbein. I don't at all care about, I saw some wonderful cheap ones. Yeah, this is just sort of like a Kelly green. I think it can be a little bit of a shock to the system to kind of do stuff like this because we want so badly for things to be perfect, but that's why practicing with pastel is great. I'm really kind of opening myself up to that. Like in the past, like most people, I would jump into paintings really fast because the fire was hot. You didn't want to waste time. Isn't that funny? We didn't want to waste time over practicing or something. I mean, gosh, I just laughed. I don't even know if that's showing up. Maybe it is. Who knows? Okay. And if I do need to tone things down, this green and like a purple on top of it will just make a more of a neutral if I need it. I have to be very careful that that double light on her face, the one that's in front of her face, does not become too light. When I squint, the strongest light is down here. But so often as portrait people, right, we just go in there and start doing. I really do like these Holbeins. I like them because, see how I can really use the side of them? I was introduced to these by my friend Stephanie Bursall, who is a great pastel artist. So my colors are definitely going to be more on the fluorescent, vibrant side. Let's see what this purple does, because I have like a little bit, see, it seems light. I'm also probably, if this color study comes out, meaning that if the color harmonies are okay, then I might use, I'll have it right up there, just like a landscape artist would do, so I can constantly remind myself, this is a good thing to see. Like, look at how much darker that is than white. I think we have to find ways to get ourselves to understand the value of things and not making stuff too light. I tend to make things too dark, you know. I need a stronger red. Orangey red. Okay. I just happen to have these in front of me. There's some really great inexpensive chalks and things you can get at Target, Walmart. Her face has to be slightly less vibrant. And sometimes you have to kind of combine, you know? You kind of put down a red and then you just put like maybe a little bit of a yellow or orange on top. Definitely, sometimes it's hard to find the perfect pastel. So pastels are a great way. And of course, I've been told this since day one, and it takes me a millennium. I'm not a millennial. A millennium to like actually have it like sink in. So more of a bright yellow, and then as it gets farther away from the light, adding a little bit more of this saturated red and orange. And then, you know, you're gonna have just a little bit of these stronger, just in hints when like a fold turns. This paper is super smooth, so there's just so much I'll be able to do with it, but that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to be layering over and over and over and over. And I really have to key this painting. Oops. Oh goodness. Pastels break. It's so sad. Oh, see, I dropped it and it broke. I am such a sloppy pastel person. I've got to learn from somebody about just being neater. Because I'm not neat. All right. I think this is good enough. Susan, thank you for doing this. Okay, it helps. All right. Okay, so I've done my little pastel study, and I have to tone my canvas, and I've decided to tone it with like, I just have like a basic purple. You know, I don't like having people think that there's like one specific color. You could literally just mix this ultramarine blue with alizarin or permanent rose or quinacridone rose. I think this is a Rembrandt Madder medium. I'm gonna see how it goes. I mean, I'm a little nervous about it. This is just Gamsol, and that is the Myers medium. So that is pure turpentine with Demar varnish and a stand oil, or linseed oil, I guess. I can't remember, but it does smell. But the reason why I'm using that is because this will evaporate instantly, whereas I'm going to try it a little bit with both. I'm also trying to get like my biggest brushes. I even think I have a bigger fan brush than this, but this is like a synthetic. I got this from Rosemary, series 222. I might try this. Let's just see what happens. And I have it on the floor because I don't want drips. I don't want things kind of falling, right? So let's just, let's see. Oh my God. Okay, first I'm gonna try this, which is the Myers medium. And I'm just gonna take a little bit in my brush and kind of, see how I'm just taking a little bit of both? It becomes very dark. And I'm looking at my photograph. So, oh, it does smell, man. Okay, I highly recommend you doing this outdoors. But the great thing about this is that this will dry really fast, and you can then, you know, it will, I mean, you could take a break or do something else, and then you can like draw over it. Oh, it stinks. Oh my God, if Scott saw me doing this, he would get so mad at me. Okay, so we won't tell him. Oh, it stinks. Okay. Oh, jeez, did you see that? Oh my God. Bloopers, bloopers. Okay, all right, okay. I might have to move out. Oh, okay. Let's just get this done fast. So I'm just kind of taking, I almost don't want to over mix, you know, just so that I might have to add a little bit of salt in this, just I'm looking at the photo. So it's actually a little bit redder on the right than it is on the left. So I have a little more purple on the left. I'm probably going to get so used to this smell, and then I'm not going to know that I literally am going to pass out. It's like, what's it, you know, carbon monoxide. Holy crap, that was so dumb of me. Okay, I do such stupid things. Okay, all right. Oh man, where did this green come from? Oh shoot. Oh man, I probably shouldn't video everything, but that's all right. Because I'm sure this happens to you guys all, right? All this stuff happens to us. I totally make mistakes on tons of things. I can feel, because of the varnish and the sand oil, it's like a little bit thicker. But the cool thing is that it won't drip at all, and it will dry really fast. This is a very bright color. Oh my God, what am I gonna do about that? Oh, I can only laugh. Thank God Scott will not see this. He would make me throw this carpet out, which I probably should do with any health officer. It's kind of thick. I can feel it tacking up already. Now, you guys, learn from my mistakes, right? Please learn from my mistakes and do this outside, or do it not, or I should have actually done it over here on this like more concrete floor, but it's in my this carpet now. Okay. All right. It's not like really dark, but at least there's a tone. And when I start to put greens on top, it will like pow. That's what I want, because the shadows are gonna be green. I want more purple over here, because that's where the face is. It's sticky, I can tell, it's tacking up. Okay. All right, this is ridiculous. Okay. All right. Oh, and I have green on the floor here. So there's like a bit of green there. I don't know where that came from. Okay, looking at it from above, I need to close this. And I need to hopefully try and clean up some of that on my carpet. Oh, it's that type of stuff that's not really a carpet. It's like, it's, you know, but oh well. Learn from my mistakes. Okay. trying to get any of the white stuff. And now this, I'm gonna actually go put this in the hallway. Well, by a door. Maybe I'm gonna go open the door and put it by a hallway because it is quite strong. All right. Don't stop breathing in here. Please don't do it. I mean, my eyes are actually still watering a little bit. I'm still like, my fingers are from that pastel study. I did kind of try to like soak it up with paper towels, and then I also put some kind of soap on it, and then I thought, oh, I'm just gonna like hide it. I'm just gonna hide it with some fabric, and then I can take that fabric home and wash it. But whoa, wow. I mean, I know I was tempting fate by doing it, but then I didn't think I would spill it. Okay, well, that was horrible. Oh, I hate my bangs. I always hate my bangs. Okay, well, anyways, so my painting is near a door to the outside, and it is like hopefully kind of airing out a little bit. I have a fan on now. Whew. You know, I think about it, whenever Scott and I have traveled and we have gone to other countries and you've had to use like literally like almost gasoline to paint with, it is, you wonder how people over the years have dealt with the extreme, because that was just, the reason why it smelled so much is because it was turpentine. I mean, it wasn't the varnish, it wasn't the stand oil or the linseed oil, it was the turpentine, and it is so powerful that, oh my god, my hair, I'm sorry. And so we've had issues like when we travel, like sometimes we'll just not use it or just use linseed oil or something. But I mean, yeah, that stuff is pretty toxic. So what I'm gonna do is I moved all my pastels to that table. I wasn't that organized about it. So what I'm gonna do is just have that painting dry for a while, and it will probably a half hour. It'll be perfectly fine to do. Like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sketch it out with like a very thin brush, and then I will show a little bit of this piece. I probably won't film it for like a video just because it's gonna take so long, but I will show you the progress. And I just wanted to reiterate, if you're going to use that Myers medium, please use it outside. Oh, that painting's not done. Please use it outside. Learn from my mistakes. And I mean, really, it's going to make you sick. Kind of made me sick a little bit. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube videos. I love it when people write me about them, and I have fun doing them, so I'm so glad that people are enjoying them. Please subscribe and follow me and Scott on our Instagram pages, our website, and also on our patreon.com/Susan Lyon.